Hi class, welcome to Construction Estimating CET 120 with our lab. Our lab is actually going to be with the lecture shell, so you don't have to go into two different course shells to be able to get your lecture and your labs. We're going to do them together. I will have different lectures for each. So I will, I will lecture on our textbook reading that you're going to be doing and just adding information to the information that you're going to learn from the book. And then our lectures for the lab will be based on working through a construction estimate for a new construction home that has been recently built. The clients have been living in it for about a year and a half. I received permission from them to be able to use the notes and our floor plans for this specific class. So it's nice to be able to refer back to a project that has already been built to get true pricing and to give you guys the most accurate information that we can. Through COVID, though, in the past year, construction costs have changed greatly. I bid a project probably 2 months ago now, 3 months ago, very large addition, just about a new construction house, 2,600 square feet. And we had to, put a contingency number of $25,000 for the fluctuation of material costs that's going on right now. And I had to add to my lumber package that I had estimated from the house that we're going to be working on. I had to add 30% to that number, which that number was about $27,000. So I had to add 30% to that. And that is just for wood and exterior sheathing materials only. So, come to find out, the electrical parts are really hard to get right now, plastics and different things like that. So there's a lot of struggle with estimating right now because of the pandemic. But what we're going to do is we're going to use, again, a year and a half ago's cost estimate. And as we go through our labs, we can talk about the percentages or maybe add a contingency number at the end of the semester when we're wrapping up this this construction estimate. Maybe we can add a certain percentage to what's current now. Prices fluctuate all the time in estimating. And so it's this first chapter that you're reading, Introduction to Estimating. It gives you a general introduction to what estimating is, and then talks a little bit about the different ways to estimate as far as the estimating methods and detailed versus assembly versus square foot estimates. And we'll get into that a little bit in a few minutes. The other thing I just want to recap is the syllabus. So I have the syllabus on our in our course content, I believe, under the course information page. Definitely take a look at it. I've added our weekly schedule. Heads up on the chapter numbers, though, that are on my document. Stick with what is in the course content. That is most accurate to the 9th edition book that you're going to be getting. I tried to put the titles with every chapter, like, chapter 14 is wood technology, or chapter 16 is concrete, whatever it is. So if you happen to get a different edition of the book, like maybe 7th or 8th edition, it should be okay, because only a few things have changed, so we can accommodate that if you happen to have a different edition. But I don't want people going back past if this is the 9th. I wouldn't want to go, the 6th edition would be pushing it. Anything above that, it could be different codes, and we don't want to deal with that. So so just refer to the title of the chapter on our course content as well as on the syllabus. The other thing on our syllabus that I have is our quiz schedule. I have 5 quizzes scheduled for our semester, with dropping the lowest quiz. So gives you a little breather on that one. And then I tried to give us a lab schedule, which was great to do to keep me on track and also keep our lectures on track and what I'm going to try to be achieving in the 14 weeks that we're together. The 15th week is really just kind of gathering all the information and finalizing it, putting it together. Sometimes I get confused on this whole online versus in-person. In-person semesters are a 15-week semester, but true distance learning classes like the one you're in right now with me are 14 weeks. So I do have 15 weeks worth of work. So, we do have a lot of work to do. We do have a lot of ground to cover. So on the syllabus, yeah, I'm gonna, now this is totally subject to change. I do start off the bat the first week and write down into it. And some people are still just getting their books. So of course I have to have some leeway, and I do. All of you have, hopefully, most likely have worked with me prior in classes and know that I'm pretty reasonable, if you just communicate with me. Okay. So the book information is in there. My office hours are on the syllabus as well as on our course content, which I showed you in a welcome video that I did. All right. So the general introduction to chapter 1, right off the first sentence, is the perfect opening sentence for this book. I actually love this book. I know it's a little expensive, and I'm sorry for that. I try to be very mindful of book costs, but I'm telling you, I still have my original building construction estimating book, this book, and it's probably a second edition or something, from 15, 20 years ago. It's just a really good book to have in your library, no matter what field you're getting into, because it has so much information about estimating. It's such a great tool to know and to learn, and to be able to do it in multiple different ways once you learn a basic concept. But the first sentence reads, building construction estimating is the determination of probable construction costs of any given project. And it says probable for a reason, because we could get hard copies from all of our subcontractors, material costs, everything, and put it into a detailed estimate. That's one of our estimating methods on page 2. 1-2 estimating methods are detailed methods, but it's still a probable cause, because I have to tell you, as a builder and as a designer and working in the field for over 20 years now, it has never, in all the projects I've worked on, I don't think there's one project that has nailed it to a T for every single specification and every single number. I've had projects myself that I've done design build that I've actually given a client $2,000 back. That's just happened a year and a half ago. I was right around that $2,000 mark, under budget from my probable construction cost, because that's what it is. It is most likely going to cost this, but there's always things that come up. Even in new construction, there's always something that comes up. So we have to do the best we can with what we have, for our knowledge, for our contractors and our numbers and our materials and our working drawings. But it is a probable cost. Now, there's different types of construction companies and project delivery systems. The design, build, and construction manager company has been around for quite some time. I think it's much more popular now and talked about a lot more now than it was before. But in the early 2000s, I started working for Joseph Chapdelaine and Sons, which is a design build company. They're a third generation. They've been around for 100 years, and they've always been a design build company. They've always been a little bit ahead of their time from everybody else. But what that means is that they do the design in-house as architectural designers. You do not need to be a licensed, stamped architect to be able to work on residential designs. You have to be able to produce very detailed working drawings to the Massachusetts State Building Code, and all of the requirements of our state. But you do not need to be a licensed. So these design build companies have architectural designers like myself, because that's what I am, an architectural designer, but I'm also a builder because I have a construction supervisor's license. So once I left Chapter Lanes and went out onto my own, I created a design build company, and I designed and built residential homes along with additions and remodels and kitchens and, you know, all sorts of different things, with having the design ability and having the licenses and qualifications to be able to be a licensed Massachusetts builder. So really, you know, works very well because as a designer, I'm able to start working through the estimate earlier in the process, because every single contractor out there has to have a set of working drawings to be able to produce one of these probable construction costs. Okay, you can't just pull this out of thin air, because if you're pulling it out of thin air and the contractor down the street is pulling it out of thin air, and the both of you come back with a probable construction cost, how closely do you think those numbers are going to be? Well, I can tell you they're going to be million miles away from each other, because there's no way that they're quoting the same thing. So it's apples to apples, right? You want to be able to, when you're putting drawings, when you're putting projects out to bid, you want to be able to give those contractors the specifications and the drawings that everybody can understand and follow, and give an accurate price to that that specific design and or specifications. As far as the estimating methods go, you're going to read through this section here. The detailed estimate includes all of the quantities and costs of every single thing that it's going to take to complete the project. That's from the first excavation, you know, digging of the dirt of the project, to the last doorknob, to the last knob on those cabinets, finish from start to finish. It is a detailed estimate with specific materials, labor, equipment, insurance, bonds, overhead, for profit, and contingencies. Everything in it, it comes into a complete detailed estimate. And again, the contractor has to have a complete set of working drawings. A square foot estimate is only used if you have done a project in a very, very recent time. Even the project that I worked on, that we're going to be working on together from a year and a half ago, really tricky to do a square foot estimate right now. I finished the project from my probable construction cost estimate, finished the project. So now I have true numbers of what everything actually is and what it ended up being. So I could go back and I could figure out the square foot, a living square foot of that house, and divide it by the cost of what it truly costs for that house, and come up with a square foot number. Say that square foot number is $225 per square foot. $225 per square foot. And the house, let's say the house was 2,600 square feet. Well, if somebody came to me and said, I have a 2,600 square foot house, these are the finishes I want, these are the details that I want, what do you think that that would cost? I could comfortably say, well, at $225 a square foot, at a 2,600 square foot house, that is going to cost $585,000 to build that house. And their mouth is going to drop to the floor, and I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to say, it's okay, go, you know, breathe and come back and talk to me when you're serious. It adds up quick, as you can see. So go through all of the other details on chapter 1, read through it. I have an assignment for you to do specific review questions at the end. Please look at the document that's in our assignment folder on the course content. And I will also have our second lecture, which is going to be chapter 20 in regards to, or 21, excuse me, in regards to profit. It's one of the last chapters in the book, but it really should be actually even before we talk about this, or maybe after we talk about the intro. You got to introduce estimating. the next thing you should talk about is profit, because we're all doing the things that we're doing to make money in this world, right? And so as a construction company or an entrepreneur, you're going to get into the business to make money and to make profit. So that will be lecture 2. I will post it hopefully by Wednesday morning, the very latest. And I look forward to seeing you guys. I'm going to try to have a weekly hangout, and stay tuned for that. Okay, take care.